Hey everybody, this is Everyday Commentary. This is a Sweet Stuff Saturday, not recorded on a Saturday. I am showing you three flashlights. So this one is the one you know. This is the ZebraLight SC65C High. This is one of my favorite lights on the market right now. If I don't know what I'm doing, or if it's like a day where I'm going to be doing a bunch of different things, I'll usually drop this in my pocket because this guy can do basically everything, and it's really small. I mean, as you can see, it's basically the size of these other two lights, which run batteries that have half the capacity. This is running an 18650. It's just very, 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 very space efficient. The 18650 is like this big, so it takes up almost the entire portion of the body tube. And at the same time, it's not terrible with the throw. So really, really nice flashlight. One of my two defaults right now. But this is about these two lights. So this light is the Rovyvon A23 Generation 2, and this light is the OLight Turbo Baton. And I just wanted to go through and sort of talk a little bit about these lights, show them off, so you can see how big they are. Here is the Turbo Baton next to a AA battery. As you can see, it's about half the size of a AA battery. Here it is against an American dollar. You can see the American dollar is a little bit bigger than twice as long. Just a little smidge. It may be like half the size of an American dollar. So the AA battery is half the size of the light, and the dollar is almost twice the size of the light. Here's the diameter, so you can take a look. And this is a pretty big, around flashlight. It's not too long, but it's quite the diameter, or circumference. This is the turbo version of the OLight Baton. I've reviewed dozens of OLight Baton, or OLights, and they are uniformly terrible. The optics are bad. The tint is bad. The UI is fine. The form factor is fine. It's just the light part of the light is just awful. It produces terrible light. It has almost no throw whatsoever. And they use those same optics, the same emitter with the same squashed TIR optics on a bunch of different lights. So they use them on the Baton. They use them on the Arcfeld. It's like one of those things that, like, they do a bunch of stuff that's good, like the UI. They do a bunch of stuff that's stupid, like the proprietary batteries. But then they just do bad stuff, and the bad stuff is really bad. And that is the optics, the actual light part of the light. I had basically warded off ever reviewing OLight flashlights because the optics were so bad. I had done the 1, the 2, the 3, the Arcfeld Pro, or the Arcfeld Ultra. I was like, I'm done. But then this light came out, and this light is the OLight Turbo version of the Baton, which means that it has a real optic, not a TIR optic. It has an actual dished reflector, and it has a bigger head, so you can get a bunch more light. The end result is, and let's see if I can do this without like blowing out the light. I mean, you can see it makes a really nice, clean, tight beam. And that's on ultra low. That's on moonlight low. And you can see the other feature here around the recessed button. It has these LEDs that tell you how much charge is left. So if you click on it, when it comes on, it'll show you how much charge is left. So that has a little bit more than half of its juice left. You can see here, there's the battery indicator. Interestingly enough, this battery indicator is just telling you that that's what this ring is. It is not telling you the orientation of the battery, because the battery actually goes in negative first. Most flashlights, the button goes towards the head. Here, the button goes towards the back. As with all the Baton series lights, it has this charging port, which is magnetic, and therefore it will stick to stuff. Let's see if I got anything. So I'm not sure how useful that feature is. It's okay. It's not my favorite thing in the world, but it's not bad either. this light is actually a good light. In addition to having this really cool, like, 4GT colorway, it is actually a useful light because it can throw pretty far. It's not as far as like the Surefire, but it's close. And it has, a relatively compact form factor. Like, obviously, this is not as small as the battery. The battery's like here. But in comparison to other lights that throw like this, it is actually quite small. And so after this and the Surefire and the Mini Turbo 4.7s, I come to realize I just like real optics better. I like turbo head flashlights better. The 4.7s is a light I have carried forever. I carry it all the time still. It's one of my favorite flashlights. This is a side switch flashlight that has even more throw than that light. And while it is bigger, like the 4.7s is probably like right here, it's not that much bigger. And it gives you better control because instead of a twisty, it's the really nice UI from OLight. So like, this is an OLight that I don't hate. And most OLights I really hate because the proprietary battery is dumb and the flashlight parts of the flashlight stink. I still hate the proprietary battery, but the flashlights part of the flashlights don't stink. So this is a really good light. I got it on sale on Black Friday, and I'm super glad I picked it up. Another light that I recently got was this light. This is the Gen 2 version of the A23. The Gen 2 version upgraded the emitter. This is the high Cree emitter, and it has 2 buttons. This button does the flashlight part, and this button does the secondary emitters that are right here. You can see them. So like, there's 1, there's 2. No. Oh, wait a second, hold on. There you go. So as you can see, this light has some, not my favorite UI. It is way more complicated than it needs to be because it's really controlling 2 different sets of emitters. What I would love for them to do is to make this button just this emitter and have it no other function, does not alter, no lockout, no nothing. And then have this button be these emitters and has no other function. Right now it does a turbo, but I want it to be 2 separate buttons for 2 separate sets of emitters, and they did not do that. And it makes it a little bit more complicated than it needs to be. It comes on now in like not a moonlight low, but it's pretty low. This doesn't really have a moonlight low. Like, let me show you. So like, that's the low on the, and then it's noticeably brighter, even though the beam is more diffuse. It is noticeably brighter. Overall, I like this light, but I don't love this light. The form factor is nice. It's a good size. If you're going to do a clicky, this isn't a bad clicky. I love the secondary emitters because that means you don't have to worry about tail standing because you can just do that. The light does not tail stand at all. I mean, it is, well, I would never trust this. It's very precarious. You're balancing it on that tiny, tiny little piece of plastic that operates as the lanyard attachment point. It also has USB-C onboard charging, which I like. I like the onboard charging. It's not my favorite. I prefer to have swappable with onboard charging like this. And it has a magnetic clip, which is kind of weird because when you put it in your pocket, everything wants to collect on it. So as you pass something into your pocket with this hanging on the edge of your pocket, it'll just chunk, chunk. Sometimes I've had my, like a tool, like a Leatherman, and I had it open, I had my skeletal open, so it was, the carabiner was clipped to my belt loop, and the tool was open, so I could just unclip it and then use the pliers right away. and it would stick to this clip because the clip, obviously it's sitting on the outside of your pocket. So it's not really collecting stuff on the inside, it's on the outside. And that was kind of weird. It also collected the zipper of a jacket. So not sure this is the most thoughtful integration of a magnet. I think we can just say, like, you don't need a magnet on most lights. Like, you just don't. It does not make a difference. It will not save your bacon. Like, the ability to set this on a screw on an outlet plate in the middle of a snowstorm when your power has gone out, I don't know why you'd ever need that, especially if you could just set it on the ground and then, or set it on a surface and then ceiling bounce and illuminate the whole room. So like, I just don't know why people think this is useful. This is like a feature that you can add to your flashlight that takes up no space. That's like part of the bullet points of a flashlight, but it doesn't really matter. It just kind of stinks. So not a super fan of this one. Actually quite like this one. I'm really sort of surprised. This is a very good flashlight. I was not expecting to like it, but I'm glad I got it. And then, obviously, this is the best of these three by a long shot. Like not particularly close. This is much closer than I thought it would be. So kudos to OLight for putting out something that's actually good at being a flashlight, even though all they do is make flashlights. Well, I guess they make knives now too. But that's a quick overview of these two lights. The just quickly because I didn't do this size comparison to a battery. Obviously, it's a little bit smaller than the OLight. It comes right across the dollar. It hits almost at the dead center of the dollar, and it is has a much smaller circumference. Although the back end is not that much of a difference compared to the front end. This light has a TIR. It does not have a true optic. So again, this light's okay. This light is better. They're about the same price. I'd always go with this one over that. But if you have the choice, go with this one. Thanks.